Today's episode, we are going to be talking about mental health resources. And to start, just wanting to give our disclaimer, or trigger warning, that we are talking about mental health, talking about things that can get a little hard. And if anyone needs to step away, we understand.
Although we look like professionals and sound like professionals, we are not professionals. So it's just our experiences, and if you feel a certain way about something that we're saying, again, it's our experiences, and we'd advise to go check out some of the things that hopefully we'll be covering today.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
I'm taking an awkward pause.
No, keep drinking your coffee. All right. So, again, today is going to be mostly about some of the resources that we have used and a few of them that have been recommended to us and our experiences with them. So, I'm probably going to go first, if you don't mind.
Please do.
All right, I'll get the awkwardness out of the way for me. So, in my experience, again from the last episode, I did not really think of mental health as anything that serious to start with. It wasn't that I completely disagreed with anything, or thought it was BS or anything like that. But when it finally hit me, I had no idea where to go, what to do. Like I said before, their suggestion was, hey, you're having these breathing issues when I was hyperventilating from a panic attack, and their solution to that was lose some weight. How I dealt with it, I guess, at the time, was you just push through it. It obviously didn't help. It was about 2012, so about 2.5 more years of not really seeking any help. The first time that I tried a therapist was actually in Camp Holby, Korea, and when I went there, you really feel like a number. I hope it's changed since then. I'm not sure if it has, if mental health has been more of a concern for military members. But when I went, I was almost treated as a number. They looked at me, and every week was either a different person or they had no idea what we were talking about. It was the first 10-15 minutes of seeing a therapist and them going, oh, yeah, you are so-and-so, you had this and this and this, and I'd go, yes, and it felt like you were being looked at but not really heard. The next thing that they tried to do with me was throw medication at me, just to see what would stick. And I don't know if any of you have been on medication before, or at least have heard of some of the stories. The first time especially, but maybe the next 4 or 5 different times, it really doesn't stick, unless you get really lucky. It's a constant experimentation of what kind of medication it is, what kind of dose it is, and it doesn't affect you enough within a day or two. It takes weeks or months to really set in and get a feel for how you're gonna feel. So I probably got on 5 or 6 different medications within maybe like 2 months. And when I told them that I didn't feel good still, their solution was to bump up the dosage, which made me feel like a zombie. They have, depending what you get, they all have different side effects. Some of mine were just feeling like a zombie, no energy, no emotion, know anything, it was better than, you know, having panic attacks and anxiety attacks. But you sit there and go, you know, every day, and your friends notice, hopefully, that, and your family notice that it's not you. So that was more of my experience with the VA a while back. Afterwards, when I got out, I tried the same thing with civilian doctors. I got on paroxetine, and it actually seemed to work. And it was decent for the longest time until within 2 years ago, I think, a year and a half, 2 years ago, it all kind of started tapering off and didn't work anymore. Because it was almost a decade of being on the same thing. And I tried something else, and then eventually tried to get off of medication with the help of a psychiatrist. And that led into a relapse of everything that I had dealt with before. Again, I did it with the help of a psychiatrist, tapering everything off and doing everything as directed, but in my case at least, it seems that medication at least is helping me keep a normal life as much as possible. I have dealt with the VA probably the last 3 or 4 years. When I got out, I wanted absolutely nothing to do with the military. You know, you really don't feel taken care of. At least, again, I didn't. My experience could be completely different from anybody else's. I didn't feel taken care of. I didn't feel cared about. I was just a number. When I got out, they didn't give me much to go off of. They just said, well, here's a packet, read up if you need anything, and that's it. So, yeah, within the last couple of years, I've been dealing with the VA. The VA actually has treated me better than I thought. I finally found a psychiatrist that it took 2 or 3 different people, and, you know, multiple sessions. It was weeks and weeks of trying to find somebody that gave a crap. And she's wonderful. I think for a lot of people that are afraid of going out and seeking therapy or a psychiatrist or just info, I think a really big thing that a lot of people forget about is that it doesn't necessarily work on the first time, or the second, third, 10th time. You really have to keep trying, and eventually I think there's somebody out there for everyone. The programs, strictly speaking from the VA again, are really decent. Let's see, I know, again, provided you're a veteran, you can go into a thing called music therapy, and that's nearby me. It could be different for different people. Different locations might not have the resources. There's music therapy where they will teach you how to play a musical instrument, and you can learn from a bunch of different people at the same time. And you don't really have to talk to people if you don't want to. It's just you go in and jam, kind of play whatever you want. There's I think something that I need to give a try to again. I tried it once, and I'm very anti getting help, if you believe it. There's the Whole Health, I think it's called, and that deals more with not necessarily medication or therapy. It's just kind of figuring out who you are, who you want to be, where you want to go, what you want to do, and maybe a connection more spiritual, if you will. More of like yoga, tai chi, meditation. I'm not 100% sure on a lot of it because, again, I only went to the first one, and then I have been bad about rescheduling.
But have you been bad about rescheduling just because Like, you said you kind of enjoyed it. You maybe should go back again. But do you think it's like, again, just don't. Trying to phrase the question how I want it phrased, but I'm struggling. My bad.
Well,
I guess I was kind of going back to when you first started. You said like you struggled to seek help. So then I was like, does that go back to because we deal with it? We just deal with it.
Yeah,
so now you're like struggling to kind of go back. 'Cause you're like, no, I'm gonna deal with it. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's a stubborn thing.
Okay.
It's for sure. I think it's for sure what you're saying too. Again, my family, we grew up with you power through it. Everything will be fine. Just go to sleep. Wake up the next day and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Or you don't really need that. You just need to drink some more water, eat some more food, like be outside more, whatever. And the stubbornness of getting help again is I think a mixture of that of I'll be fine, and the lack of trust that I had and have with medical help in general, more so mental health than anything. That's a good question.
I was just goat yoga. I hear that's therapeutic.
What exactly is goat yoga?
It's yoga with goats.
Okay.
And they run around and do their little goat things, and then you do yoga, and they'll come and jump on your back, or they're just around. You can pet them, and
can we jump on their back?
No, they're just little baby goats. They got bunny yoga.
They're kids.
Yeah, they're kids. I go to yoga to get away from my kid. No. Yeah, there's bunny yoga, goat yoga. Yeah.
Have you done any of those?
I haven't. I would like to. I have not done yoga.
So, okay, I haven't done yoga. And
should we do a yoga session?
we could eventually. I would embarrass myself, but
could be fun.
Do you think that's helped you in general? Or do you think it's like just like a mind clearing thing, or
definitely a mind clearing. Meditation and yoga has definitely been it's more mind clearing than anything. It's like for a good solid 20 to 30 minutes, like I'm focusing on trying to do yoga and not fall and hurt myself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, I have to think about not falling, and
it's for me. It's kind of hard to shut off my mind though too, because usually I'm constantly thinking about not even like depressing things
but there's just like a constant.
Yeah, there's someone in my head just talking.
So last week before our session, we actually did a meditation session together. Were you able to kind of shut your brain? I don't want to say shut your brain off, but like, did you kind of feel like it cleared a little, or was it still?
Yeah, it was soothing. It was different. It was like I didn't know what to expect. But yeah, I think a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious. I know I almost fell asleep actually.
Hey, that's okay.
It was nice. So meditation and yoga. You know what? We're gonna have to do that on a session. We'll do yoga.
Yeah.
I'll film one.
Oh boy.
It'll be a good yoga
Highly
session.
edited.
Highly edited. Oh jeez. So anyway, sorry. Side tangent about yoga and meditation.
If you have more about it, go
nope,
ahead.
I don't. Let you keep going.
Yeah, in the past, and you can hopefully relate to this one too, instead of going to therapy or talking with friends or family or anything else, I've always been kind of closed off for the most part, for those of you that know me a little bit better. So this is definitely different, talking in this podcast. In front of somebody too that is right next to me. It's a little more awkward, but I'm trying.
You're doing really good.
Thanks. Yeah, and instead of going and getting help, uh, most of what I would do is cope with it in finding work. Again, because of how I grew up, and then because if I have no time to think, if I have no time to really um, force myself to ruminate or reflect, um, that got me into a mindset of just go to work, come home, and go to sleep. Which, you can do pretty well for making money, but I would say that for mental and physical health, it has taken a toll. It was pretty much since I got out of the military. It's just been work, and then for vacations, if I got invited to somewhere every once in a while. I took a trip to Europe. That was spontaneous. That was pretty cool. But other than that, for literally 7 years, I would prioritize work over everything for the most part. And that got me into a big deficit for my mindset too. Because it didn't matter if I had a get together or a holiday or just hanging out with friends. It was, hey, I'm sorry, I have to work, or hey, I've gotten so involved in work that I have this extracurricular that has taken over everything. And it didn't bring the fulfillment that I thought it would. So
What?
Yeah, imagine that.
Did you have any hobbies?
No,
No, just work.
no. Yeah, kind of. It was work, and I lost all of my hobbies for the most part. Like I really used to enjoy reading. I used to enjoy going and playing some sort of sport. I used to enjoy watching sports. I used to enjoy all these different things, and pretty much the only thing that I could enjoy anymore was playing video games. And I think the reason for that, and probably the reading, is if you delve into it, into a different place, into a different time, you kind of lose yourself in that. And you don't have to think, you don't have to do anything else. You are in this world, you are a part of it, you are participating, whatever you want to call it, and you can kind of look forward to that for next time, I guess. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was literally it. Yeah, I mean that's that's kind of some of the stuff that I've used, at least, and how I coped a little bit. But what about you?
My coping mechanisms were real. I shouldn't say real fun. That sounds wow. I'm trying to decide if I start with coping or if I start with because you started with the VA, and I'll just start with how I coped.
Yeah.
I'll
Because I think,
rabbit hole on in.
correct me if I'm wrong, your coping mechanisms led into you seeking out help and then
Yes.
getting to a better place.
So back when a lot of things started for me, again, growing up, being told, like, not that mental health wasn't important, but mental health wasn't important. We got up every day, we went out, we did barn chores, that was our life. We didn't, anyone that was on medication was crazy. I do remember, and I do remember that comment made more than once, like, we don't take medications, we don't need help, like, it's fine.
Rub some dirt on it, put
Rub
some
some dirt
Windex
in,
on it.
pick yourself up by the bootstraps and
Yep.
keep going on.
Yeah.
So after my dad and brother passed, there was like a huge decline in my mental health, physical health. Like, there was just a lot of stuff going on. But I remember thinking, if I work out, if I just keep getting up every day, it's gonna be okay. everything's going to be okay. I started drinking very heavily. If I wasn't at work, I was at home having a drink.
Was it drinking heavily prior to you getting involved in work and everything? Like when you were more of like a kid or a teenager?
No. Like
I didn't know when.
Like
you,
I
when you
didn't
started
start
drinking.
Okay, actually. Well, that goes way back into a first story.
Hey,
So
tell what you're comfortable
So
about.
here, you know what? I'm gonna delve back for a second. We're gonna go on a little Abby adventure, and then we're gonna come back. Okay?
Sure.
So actually, yeah, the first time I drank, I was 14. I was at my camp, and UV blue.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Mine was Fleshman's, and it was, oh boy. I'll get to my story. I'm sure my parents will be proud.
So it wasn't yeah, that was the first time I ever drank, was 14. Not proud of that, but anyway, it was at my Christian camp, and yeah, that was the first time. Again, UV blue, it'll never. Oh.
Just to interject real quick before we get too far, because mine's kind of funny, but kind of not. Mine was, I was 16, and there's a party up at his acquaintance. He wasn't really a friend, and I had gotten there. Everybody was already drunk, and I'm like, trying to figure things out. And they poured a clear, like a red Solo cup of clear, and it was like that much, just full of Fleshman's vodka.
Oh.
And I drank it, like I didn't know what I was doing, so I drank the entire thing. And I'm like, well, this kind of burns, but it's not that bad. Like, I don't know what everybody's acting stupid about. And they're all cheering me on and calling me like, yeah, you're a champ, you're a champ. And it didn't take long for me to do it again, like the same amount, give or take. And, because I loved everybody cheering for me.
Yeah.
And then it hit, and then I was outside in the grass, and I think I ended up in the shower of the kid's parents' house, and he was next to me in the toilet, like the entire night, and I swore that I would never drink again, ever.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened there too.
I won't drink vodka again.
I was gonna say UV blue, never, ever again. But that wasn't a depressing time in my life. That was just the first time I drank. No, I did not actually start drinking. I mean, after 21, I started drinking, but I didn't delve heavily into alcohol until, like, I would go out, I would have drinks, but it's not that I was dependent or codependent on it. I was having a drink for fun. That's all it was. It wasn't until, like I said, after my dad and brother passed, things started getting bad, that it was alcohol. Like, I would come home from work, I didn't want to do any of my hobbies, I just wanted a drink. Rum chata in my coffee in the morning.
Hey, there you go. Did they pass when you were little, or we've never really talked about it? So
we haven't per se. So
if you're
I was just I was thinking. It always, every time I think about how long it's been, I always have to like stop myself and like, because it feels longer, but at the same time, it doesn't.
It feels just like kind of yesterday.
Yeah. So it's been 6 years in March since my dad and brother passed away in a farming accident. At the same time, I have 3 younger brothers, and my 2 youngest brothers, they were in the silo with my dad. My one brother was able to get out, but my baby brother was not. And so, so they passed away, and I mean, okay. Something I do is I have a tendency to deflect, make jokes, and laugh, so I apologize.
Dark humor.
Yeah, dark humor. So I'm not really laughing, but it is how I've coped. So if I make jokes, please bear with me. I'll just say that. So anyway, after they passed, I thought I was fine. You know what? This is life. Crap happens. Don't know why, but it does. And but that's when I really started drinking a lot more. Actually, it was like it was in May, a few months after their passing, that my friend had to get together at her place. And I brought over like 2 bottles of Tennessee Fire, like thinking like, yeah, this is more than enough. And I drank over half of this bottle, and I was sick. It was not a good time. I was like, oh, we're getting together. You know, I need this. I need to be drunk. And that's actually, honestly, after that, it's kind of how I lived my life. Not that I needed to be drunk, but I needed to have something. Like I said, I needed to constantly have a drink after work.
To focus on, you think? Or just to kind of lose yourself in?
I think it was to lose myself in. I was still, like, I had hobbies. I was crocheting at the time. That was fun. Don't do that anymore. I should probably get back into that.
You should.
I should. Next time you see me, I'll be crocheting as we're...
That's a good resource to get into.
That is true. But yeah, and then so I was working at the time at the hospital. I was a CNA, and I actually, so again, drinking after work, just trying not to feel things, ended up needing a career change because I wasn't in a good place mentally.
Yep.
So I thought drinking, working out, I was constantly in the gym too. And then I thought a career change would help. Not therapy, not doing something, you know, to better myself. No. Career change.
Can I add on to that? Because
yes, of course.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly have done similar, I think. When I got out, rather than forcing myself to figure things out, I went and tried to go back to college.
Okay.
Which I didn't like.
Yeah.
Then I decided to move halfway across the state, or the country rather,
Yeah.
to try and find work and find something different out there, which kind of worked but kind of didn't.
Yeah.
Then I tried a different job, which kind of worked, kind of didn't.
Yeah.
Then moved back home, which kind of worked, kind of didn't. But I guess my point is that the career changes, it almost makes you feel like you can't really settle down and force yourself to confront things. You just you keep moving on and try to just push everything to the wayside.
Oh, absolutely. I did a career change. I broke up with my ex because career change, a new life, new identity, like, I'm fine. I just need to make a few changes in my life and everything will be okay. Spoiler alert, it wasn't okay. So, yeah, I did a whole career change. Did not help. I ended up getting into, like I said, I was still drinking, way more than I should have been. Still drinking, like I said, rum chata in the coffee in the morning, a shot of rum chata, a shot of Bailey's in the morning. Coming home.
In the coffee.
It was delicious. Probably more rum chata than coffee, but I'm joking. Kind of joking.
Maybe some days, I don't know.
Kind of joking.
Yeah.
Then I turned to, again, another one of my coping mechanisms was marijuana. Now, I am not, I'm not anti, like, medicinal marijuana. I'm not anti, like, for anything like that. But again, if I feel that when you're using something as a coping mechanism, then it's not, no matter what you use, it's a coping mechanism. Like, I use the gym as a coping mechanism 90%
Often.
of the time, to be honest. Well, maybe it's like 60% now on some days.
Okay.
I got good days and bad days, but I use the gym as a coping mechanism. And as much as it's like, oh, you're bettering yourself, you're lifting weights, you're being healthy, if you're not using it, if you're only using it because it's a coping mechanism, then it's still not healthy. So again, turn to the gym, turn to alcohol. I was smoking a lot, and just an expensive hobby. No.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not kidding.
It's expensive. So is drinking. But those were my coping mechanisms until until enough was, I don't want to say like until enough was enough, but honestly, a few other things happened in my life and enough was enough. So again, not funny. I apologize.
It's
but
a coping mechanism is to laugh, because what else can you? Yeah, what else can you do?
But it got once everything got really bad. Between a rock and a hard place, I guess is the best way to say it. That's when I actually started to. I was on medications. I was on medications. I was taking sertraline, which I liked. But again, coping mechanisms. I didn't like the way that it made me feel numb. I felt good. I didn't feel as
bad, but you didn't get. See, mine.
Yeah.
I think you'll agree. Like, I think this is where you're going. I never really get the lows as bad as they were, but I never really get the highs either. You're kind of stuck in the middle and just kind of there.
Yes.
So that's kind of sort of where my psychiatrist is pushing me towards is being like, you know, these'll in a sense give you a crutch, but you should do therapy as well.
Yes.
And that's kind of where my stubbornness is that, hey, I'm not feeling, you know, horrible every day.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't want to change anything, and I'm afraid to.
That makes sense. You're at a good baseline. You feel like you're at a good baseline. Why rock the boat?
Yeah, and I'm
Make
just
it better or worse.
getting better from where I was. So.
Anyway. I can see that. No, I can see that. Because that's how. Yeah, like you said, I liked sertraline, but I also alcohol's a downer, so that did not help. But then smoking marijuana was the devil's lettuce. That was more of an upper, and well, for me it was.
Yep.
I guess I do realize that everyone reacts to it differently. For me, it was an upper. You know, I didn't try. Well, tried some shrooms, but I didn't try anything harder. So I mean, I got that going.
There's some people that swear by it, that like microdosing is it makes you feel so much better. I've never tried. I don't think I ever want to necessarily, but
microdosing shrooms, I did like doing that. But it gave me the same. Personally, in my experience, it gave me the same effect as smoking weed by microdosing it. So it wasn't. Yeah.
Is it more expensive or cheaper than marijuana? Or right around the same?
I only had it a couple of times, and to be quite honest, I didn't buy it, so I don't know.
There you go.
I tried it. There's that. Yeah, so those were my, like I said, that was my coping until I actually coped.
Yeah.
So anyway, then so a couple things that I'm going to talk about what I did. I will say what I wish I had done. A little hindsight there.
That's a good idea.
So what I did do is I was offered some services. Didn't go through with those. I actually had reached out to BetterHelp. It's an online therapy. Instead of having to go meet someone face to face, it's online. You can chat with someone.
For insurance purposes and everything, is it like a free service, or is it?
So insurance purposes, no, you do. Well, actually, I would have to delve into that. I didn't have insurance at the time, so I paid for it out of pocket.
Okay.
But I mean, considering the fact I didn't think it was that bad. I'd have to go back and look at the exact numbers, but it really wasn't.
I mean, if it's not that bad,
it
then
really wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And I thought it was helpful. I had a few sessions with them, but again, some stubbornness arose and some other stuff. And I did learn some. I did get on the right track. I feel like that helped me start moving forward and getting on the right track.
Okay.
I ended up going cold turkey. I cut out alcohol. I cut out smoking. I had already quit the medications, not because they weren't helping. Again, they were, but I was so numb.
Yeah.
I just felt numb, and I was already coping with alcohol and weed that I was like, I don't need the pills. It's not gonna, probably doesn't make sense. In my head it did. In my mind it made sense. Like,
I mean, to me, as someone that kind of experienced it, I think it does. Like, because that's, I think, the same thing that I did, where, again, you don't want to not feel anything.
yeah.
So quitting the medication, at least for me, was supposed to be like, okay, now I can feel happy again. I can feel like excited about things. I'm not just kind of meh.
Yes.
Not Eeyore.
Not even. Yeah. For me, yeah, like I said, so going back to coping, yeah. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Let me get back.
No, you're fine.
So another thing that the medications did for me, that I absolutely just despised, and that was another reason I got off, is my libido dropped way down. And I absolutely hated that. And I thought I was the worst person ever. I was with my ex at the time, and I just didn't want that for our relationship. And so that was another reason I'm like, don't like feeling numb. Don't like the drop in libido. I don't like feeling trapped.
Yep.
Is how I felt.
Yeah, I can understand. I can empathize with that.
Like, I just felt trapped. So I'm like, okay, if I get rid of the medication, I'm already using drugs and alcohol, like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And that's, like I said, in my head, that's what made sense. That's, again, I understand looking back that makes no sense, but it made sense to me at the time. So anyway, I was going through BetterHelp, and that was one of the things that was suggested, talked about, suggested, was limiting or starting to cut back on my use of drugs and alcohol. So me being me, cold turkey, I said,
Ugh. Yeah, how'd
was
that one
not,
work out for you?
You know what?
I mean, so with mine, I missed like a day or two, and maybe a couple more days at most.
Okay.
And I feel like spacey and just kind of sick and everything else, and I can't imagine just being like, well, nope, I'm done.
I was trying not to swear. I was a raging person. Wasn't a good person. I was angry. Obviously, I was angry. All my emotions, everything was such a roller coaster.
Real on display.
It was. Oh yeah, like I already wear my emotions on my sleeve. Now just take everything else away. It was not okay. But during this time, so hindsight, I wish I had reached out sooner. Obviously, I wish I had. So for me, I wish I had gone to my pastor and talked to someone, even an elder, sooner rather than later. I didn't. Again, hindsight 2020 for me. I wish I had reached out to a couple family members that I know have dealt with addiction, and like I said, hindsight, I wish I had. But at the time, I'm fine. I can handle this by myself. I am a strong, independent woman. I got this. I know someone else is struggling, and I can be there for them, but I'm struggling?
Yes.
No, I'm fine.
Yes, absolutely.
That was a huge thing, actually, for me, was feeling that I needed the feeling of needing help and feeling like I could help other people,
But you can't
but
help
I can't
yourself.
help
You feel,
myself.
yeah.
And that is a very deflating, humbling feeling, though.
Yep.
Because how come I can help other people, but I can't help myself?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, like you said, it's not funny, but it is funny.
Yeah.
You could say, hey, I'm dealing with this and this and this, and I can say, oh, well, have you thought about trying this, or have you thought about how you feel about this, and kind of like navigate it in ways that after you're done, you're like, I wish somebody would just tell me what to do. Like, why can't I fix myself? Air mask quote. Curious on that one. Oh, for Spotify people and other people that aren't necessarily watching.
That's right. We trying to be more descriptive. Yes. That's right. Gotta work on that.
So the comment is that reminds me of the air mask quote. So as soon as they tell us what it is.
Gonna say, could you maybe
elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, that's the word. What's that word?
Put on your own oxygen mask before others in the event of airplane issue. Yes.
Sorry, read the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I'll do the whole thing. So this person says, that reminds me of the air mask quote. Put on your own oxygen mask before others in the event of an airplane issue. And
yes,
I think that's accurate, at least in my experience, and maybe yours too, Abby. I can't. I'll go with like relationship wise. For me, at least, I don't know how I can be in a relationship with someone if I can't love myself. And maybe it's cliche, I don't know, but I think that it has some accuracy where, you know, you can help the other person, but if you feel terrible the entire time and they're happy-go-lucky because they think everything is good, it just sabotages everything.
I agree with that one, though. That kind of reminds me of a quote, though, too. We're not always going to love ourselves, especially in difficult days. We're not always going to love ourselves. So putting that pressure on ourselves to, I have to love myself before I can love someone else, or I have to love myself before things get better. Put so much pressure on us that I am going to butcher the quote, but basically the premise is that you're not always going to love yourself, and that's okay, but if you can learn to like yourself,
that's difficult too.
It is, but it's a good start.
Yeah.
Learning yourself, learning to like yourself. But again, not putting so much pressure to love yourself, because you don't need to. You are deserving of love. You're deserving of other people liking you, even if you don't love yourself. What do you tell me? What do you say to me? Just accept it. Accept the compliment. Accept the love I give you. Yeah. Choosing to accept
the belief that someone else sees you a certain way, even if you don't see it yourself.
Yes, which I have really been working. I've been trying it's difficult. Hard. But the first time you said that to me, like, this is. Say the whole thing, the belief thing.
I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be the exact thing to say, but you should trust me that this is the way that I see you, and you should believe in that.
Yeah, I have been working on that, actually. Trying.
I should take my own advice.
You should. We give some great advice, just we don't listen to it.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do.
Absolutely. It's much more fun that way. But ever since you said that to me about the belief, I have been trying super hard to accept compliments and accept the fact that if you think I trust you, and if you're saying that to me, that you're proud of me, or then I need to take that and accept that. I've been trying. It's a work in progress. But
I think it'll be a lifelong thing.
Probably. Day by day. Every day. So yeah, like I said, so the resource I used was BetterHelp. I was going, so I still wanted to like touch into the whole like pastor and religious aspect, but I also realized that that is probably going to end up being a full podcast.
We can.
So I'm not going to delve into it too much, but like I said,
Yeah.
hindsight, I wish I had talked to, there are a couple people I wish I had talked to long before things got bad. I wish I had talked to my family. I wish I had talked to my mom, actually, a lot more. I don't know if at that time it would have, I don't know how far it would have gone or wouldn't have gone, but I do wish I had, like I said, had reached out, had talked to her, or talked to someone before I let, and I don't want to say I let things, but I did. I let things get bad because I was being stubborn.
Yeah, I think
that's a common theme.
Using friends and family as a resource is a overlooked thing too, depending on what your relationship is with them. Mine, I know that they'd be there for me for anything, but again, the way that we grew up is that you kind of keep everything inside, so it's difficult to say, this is what's hitting me hard right now. It's more of like an awkwardness almost of trying to explain it, not being able to, and them saying like, I don't know how to help you, but I'm there.
Yeah, definitely depending on the relationship that you have with your family or friends. That's something. I know I don't always take my own advice. I don't, ever. I should. But that is something that it's like, I wish if I could go back, I wish I would have had me as this older version to talk to.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, again, I wish I had known who I could have reached out to and talked to.
Yeah.
Like I said, hindsight, now I do, but I didn't at the time, and I wish I had.
Part of growing up.
Ew. No.
I mean, I feel like I'm still growing up, more out than up, but I'm growing up.
I will always be 23.
Yeah, 23 plus.
23. Tops.
Gray hairs don't lie.
It's all blonde.
Okay.
So yeah, those are some of the things that we used as resources. Do we want to talk about the resources we had found, or do we want to put those up online later?
I think it's hard. Like we discussed this a little bit before we got on. Most of the things that were suggested were really good.
Yes.
But for me personally, I didn't feel too comfortable speaking on them, only because I don't know enough about it, and I don't want to advocate for something that I'm like, it looks nice, but I have no idea.
Yes.
I guess if specifically for YouTube and or Spotify, if anybody wants any of the things that were suggested to us, just leave a comment. Otherwise, I don't know that we should post it.
Okay, yeah. I was to say, because we haven't used them, it's not like we can actually say
advocate for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, like I said, go back to the BetterHelp, because that's what I used. I did, like I said, I liked that. Didn't have to leave my home. I didn't have to go anywhere. Didn't have to do much online.
A good thing too.
And I loved it.
The VA's gotten really good about it too. All of mine, my sessions with the psychiatrist and psychologist at the time, when I was not being so stubborn, all of them are video, which makes it a lot easier for me. I think they've definitely gotten better over the years.
I think not that COVID was good, but I think that really helped delve into online and doing things via Zoom, via online, and I think that's helped. Like,
it's a culture change.
It is.
And it does have some bad things, but I think it's got some good things too.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of negatives in that, but it's like a positive that came out of that was definitely like for anyone that cannot leave their house or is dealing with certain things. Yeah, you can go on Zoom. You can have the counseling from your chair. I mean, that part's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Mainly because, yeah, I just didn't. I wanted to seek help, but I didn't want to drive somewhere and talk to someone in like face to face. A lot of things though, like part of the reason I didn't want to though is I still have it. Imposter syndrome.
Yes.
I struggle so much with that, like imposter syndrome.
It's like you said, you know, I'm 23 always. Well, I kind of feel like I'm 16 and being like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But here I am.
Yeah, right? I guess I thought if I went and spoke to someone face to face, like...
Do you think that they would have judged you or said like, oh, you're not really as bad as you think you are?
I don't believe they would have, but in my head, yes. Yeah. Like... oh, I'm gonna go and get help, but I don't really need it because I'm fine. Like, again, I smile. I'm fine. My life's not that bad. Like, just that imposter syndrome.
Could be worse, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a starving child in Africa. Like, my life's fine. Again, that's just where my brain went. So, being able to talk to someone, like I said, via the computer for some reason was better. It was better for me.
It was there, but not as personal.
Maybe. You know what? That's probably it. It wasn't as personal, so I was able to still form a bit of a wall and snap,
breaking that down.
Oh snap! Making some realizations now too.
Yeah. Girl therapy is all online as well. It's been wonderful for me the last year or so. That was one of the ones that I was looking at. I do have that listed out. We should. Like I said, if anybody wants anything that has been suggested or more in depth on some of the resources that we've used, just let us know.
Something I was gonna say too, I know we had like said it at the beginning, like we're not professionals, we're talking about our experiences and things like that. We are going to be putting our email up on the link also, so
I did forget to do that last time.
it's okay. No. I forgot too. I was just remembering now. If anyone, like I said, if anyone wants to reach out, we are going to put our email up. We do have our Instagram if you want to just send a message or anything like that. Except we're not professionals, but we're always here to listen, and
we do have some experience with dealing with some things.
Like I said, we might not take our own advice, but we give good advice sometimes.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh, sorry, there you go.
No, ladies first.
I'm waiting. I'm just kidding. If nothing else, I could grow one too.
You can't grow a beard.
Beard. He was touching his beard, and I said I could grow one too. My bad. I was like, for those that are listening and not watching. I will say Joe has been an amazing listener, and I am so thankful that he has let me talk every time that I need to. So definitely is a great listening ear.
As are you.
Well, thank you.
It's been very helpful.
Yeah.
We have about 3-4 minutes left. I think we can talk about next week. I would say we've been touching.
I'm sorry.
Wrong pipe.
I took a drink and then I tried to breathe, and that doesn't work. Obviously, I can't multitask. Surprised I made it this long.
I think next week, since we have touched on religion for 2 different episodes.
Yeah, we have. We should probably.
I think that would be a good thing. I am kind of ignorant on things. I've listened to some people, and I've never really delved too deep in it. So that might be like a Abby special.
So if anyone has any questions when it comes to mental health and religion or Christianity, and if you want to leave a comment or reach out to us, that would be awesome. And I'll definitely touch on that next week. For me personally, religion, Christianity has been huge in helping me also.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If anyone has any questions, definitely reach out with questions, but I can definitely, we can talk about that. I can talk about some things.
I'll be a fly on the wall, and I'll
no, you can ask questions.
Chirping when I have some things.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then we'll talk about scheduling for next week.
Yeah. Probably still Friday. Just need a time.
No.
Gotcha.
That's something we'll have to talk about scheduling.
We'll let you guys know.
Yes, we'll be posting it. I'm working PM shifts, so yeah, on Friday. So
calling sick, no big deal.
Yeah, right. I should. Mental health day.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see what I can do. No.
Do you?
Will not be calling in. If anyone from work listens
no
to
video
me.
or audio. Do you want to plug our socials and everything?
Oh yeah, plug our socials. That's my thing.
That's your thing.
That is my thing. Okay, so
self-advocation. Not a fan.
If anyone would. If anyone's willing, please go check out our socials. We do have Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Spotify. We're on Spotify.
Twitter.
Twitter.
X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah. But also, I want to say thank you to Joe because he is a mastermind. He is the reason we're on YouTube and Spotify and actually on this because he is the brains. Definitely the brains.
Oh boy.
I'm the brawn. No, just kidding.
She's pointing to her very large biceps.
Absolutely. That's right. I will figure that out at some point to be more descriptive.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely we do have a link tree and it's got the links to all of our socials. Please go check those out. Give us a like, give us a follow, comment, just swing on in, see our pretty faces. I mean, it's all a good time. Joe's face is prettier.
Baby face. Anyway.
But yes, we would really appreciate, like I said, just the likes and follows, and like I said, say hi, shoot us a message.
Yeah, we love listening. We love talking.
Yeah.
Well,
I do love to talk.
Some of us like talking.
I do like to talk.